All right, so next part of our setup here, we've already done this. Now, this takes, I don't know, it took us a couple minutes just to get it as close to perfect as possible. Not all cuts are 100% square, that type of a thing. You'll find out if the better tools you have, the closer you're gonna get it to square. Ours are pretty square. We do maintenance on our equipment quite often. So what you can see here is that, we're pretty flush with our piece there. This is that part of cheating that I was talking to you about. You want to leave as much of the raw material untouched as possible so that you can get that nice straight edge that we're talking about. So here you want to flush your stuff up. Now we've used clamps because you can see under our cabinet here, it's pretty dirty and gross there, but you can see the way we have our table built, we have it set up so that we can clamp on the edge like this. If you don't have clamps and you don't have this option, you can actually just screw down through here. You can put screws through them and then fill the holes later. It's not the best option, but depending on the size of your work piece, this one here is like 4 feet tall. So I would do a minimum of 3 screws, bottom, middle, top, bottom, middle, top. So 6 screws total over the whole thing. You don't have to worry about the middle part. But basically all we're gonna do, there's a couple ways to do this, but what we're gonna do is just router out this edge on here so that it matches exact to the same size as the other one. And then we'll do that with our plywood and stuff too. So I'll show all those happening at the same time so that you guys can see the different results on them. And also what we did here with the chisel, the router is going to leave a rounded corner there on inside corners. So we're going to have to go back and chisel every single one. You've already seen how we did this one, so we're not going to show you how to do them all, but we will be doing that on all of them just so that you're on the same page here. So we're going to start routering things out right away. And if you have a shop vac for this section, you probably want to bring that out and make that happen because this is going to get dusty. So we're getting ready to router here and I'm going to show you this. So we showed you all the tools in the beginning. This is just a laminate trimmer router. So this thing, I think I paid like 110 bucks for it, brand new. I've had this thing for 10 years. We hog out stuff with this off and on, not all the time. This is not, this process that we're showing you is not our everyday routine. We run a CNC, so doing things by hand is a little bit old school for us, but we want to show you the proper ways to do this and give you some options other than only having big equipment tools and stuff. So this is one of the smallest routers that you can find that will do what you want it to do. It will make some ugly noises here and there to do it, but as long as you hold it steady and you go nice and slow, this will do the job for you, no problem. If you're doing something like this over and over again, repeatedly, you're gonna definitely wanna upgrade to a full-size router to do this, but the process in itself is exactly the same. So we don't want to use tools that you may or may not be able to purchase, buy, or have. So we're trying to stick with the smallest stuff that'll get you through the job and still do a proper professional end product. Also, we have our shop vac and our guy here that's going to be routering everything. As sad as it seems, I'm going to let him router and hold the vacuum by himself to show you that it can be done. But if you have help while it's happening and when you're doing this, it'd be nice for you to be able to focus on holding that router down and getting the job done properly, and then having, spouse, friend, kid, whatever, partner, somebody helping you hold that vacuum there. So she's gonna get loud. We'll probably get rid of the sound on this, and we'll see you when we're all done. So I just want to show you this real quick, just because we were off by like 2 millimeters on our adjustment. We thought we were going to be just right through this. So it caught here, right? So now we're going to have to make an adjustment on that and figure that out. So what I might end up doing is using our top one for our template for our next two. And we're about 2 millimeters off here. So we're making the adjustment so that we can go all the way through. But at the very least, you can see that it's going to make a really nice cut all the way down there. All right, so this is repairable. We'll show you how to do all that stuff. I actually like it when stuff like this happens so that I can show you more stuff. So we will deal with this and you'll see how we're gonna do it. So after all this is said and done with this, you're going to want to take the sander to it because you can see bearing marks in there. Okay, that's pressure marks where the router actually kind of pulls into the wood on the bottom piece, or your template piece. You can see it all the way down. If you hit that with sander now, then they'll both be identical when you pull them apart. If not, then it's not that big of a deal to do it after. And or you don't have to do it at all if you don't want to. T-mold goes over that edge and will cover all that stuff. It's just, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it right. Okay, so you saw in an earlier video that our template got a little bit damaged on our first cut. We weren't kind of set up properly on our bit. We got a little too excited. Now it kind of went wonky. So what we're going to do is just going to sand this out and make a curved edge on here. You want to make sure that your curved edge isn't too sharp because you're going to put T-mold and stuff in there later. So just make sure that it's even and nice. Take your time on something like this. It's better than filling it with Bondo and trying to create a new corner and that type of a thing. We're early on in the stages, so we'll show you how it all works when it's all said and done. Sand away! So we're here all set up, ready to rock. It doesn't look like much. I'll show you how this thing's working. But we are ready to router out our piece. Yes, it looks a little bit different. I will make note that we are going straight to the plywood after this. So two things with this. One is we had a little mishap with the camera on thing, and we blew a bearing on our bit. So we had to change all that out. We were halfway through doing our template piece with our MDF. So you'll see us doing it in the later stuff. We'll do some clips with it and show you how it all worked out. But we are redoing this part to show you from start to finish. Secondly, the grain, I'm going to get some flack on this for sure, but just for teaching purposes only, we cut the wood the way we have here because I'm trying to make it all out of one sheet, and we're trying to do it not only as fast as possible but as economical as possible, because a lot of this stuff, these little cabinets that we're building for you, are just examples and they're not something that we will resell. So we just want to have that clear for everybody. So with that being said, the grain on the wood is going in the wrong direction. Technically you'd want to go in the other direction. If you do it like this, it isn't the end of the world. Just don't let anybody know because they'll ridicule you on the streets. So there is a reason for what we've done here. So if it looks a little off, it is because it is. So follow the instructions on what we're saying, and obviously don't do as we're doing for this. It technically will not matter for us while we're doing this. Okay, so always with your PPE, definitely wear your safety glasses. Get a couple pairs if you have to. These things are dangerous. As we said, we blew a bearing. It didn't get dangerous. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't an issue that way. But you could see where it was gouging in the wood, and knowing that the bearing's broken, we wanted to make sure that we changed out the bit. Also, in the other video, we used a different bit because we ran out of those bits, and we have these ones. So the bearing is on the other side, and the way you're looking at this is now upside down. Technically, this is the right way to do it. We were doing it upside down before so that we could show you how it was done. But now we're just going to do it the right way. We'll show you how it's going to go, because that's probably why the bearing kind of burnt out on us. But I'll show you here underneath. This is our piece. Okay, so you can see the arcade piece is upside down underneath all this, right? So the shape is there. Everything is good to go. Nothing's touching our workbench, right? We've got it out set up underneath. It's all good to go. Give you the ugly side of what we're doing here. It looks like almost like gum under the bench almost, but yeah, so we're gonna router this out and let the bearing do all the work. FYI, when you're doing this, You want to make sure that you are going counterclockwise. As the bit is running in a clockwise direction, it will skip, hop, and bounce off of the workpiece if you go the wrong way. If you go the right way, it'll pull itself to the piece underneath and let that bearing hug your template piece and then give you a nice, sharp, brisk cut. Okay, so also we have a shop vac going. You can see it in his hand there. So he's going to use both hands to do other stuff. Yeah, I'm a bad guy. I'm not a bad boss man. I'm not going to help hold this thing. I want to show that one person can do it by themselves. If you do have help, I strongly recommend having somebody hold the shop vac end and the vacuum just sucking up all the wood and dust for you that way, so you can focus on pulling the router yourself. But I wanted to make sure that you guys understand that it can be done all on your own. Here we go. Okay, so now we're all done this one. I'll fix up all the little frayed edges and stuff and give this a sand down and get rid of all these little flecks and fibers, but we got the exact same shape as the other one. As you can see, there's a little bit of a bearing rub on there. That'll happen. It's supposed to do that. You can just sand that out. It's not a big deal. I wouldn't sand it out every time, just sand it out at the end. So now we're going to move on to our other profile here, and we're going to cut them the same way. So when we come back, we'll have all four profiles cut out of two different materials.